In what way have your kids given you more of an appreciation for your parents?
Everyone thinks it, right? Your parents are idiots, right? When you're young, and then you have kids and you're like, oh God, like my parents were a lot smarter than I gave them credit for. I think everybody goes through some level of that one way or another. And so, yeah, your perspective changes for your parents a lot. My mom committed her life to her kids. Seeing that commitment now probably means even more, right? Since you have kids and things like that. And they led by example. I want my son to see me work. Like that's what I saw my dad do. I saw my dad run a garbage company from the ground floor, right? Like my dad, very rarely did I see him suit and tie sitting in an office. Like not who he is. Like he does not lead from an elevated place looking down at his employees and his business. That man is down in the trenches with you. More times than not did I see my dad in raggedy old blue jeans with grease all over him coming home.
It's work ethic, it was instilled in me, and it was tough love with Joey and our daughter Danielle. It was like, you love the hell out of them, but you're going to earn it. You get nothing for free. My father always said, if it's for free, don't even talk to the people because you get nothing for nothing.
My dad just runs. He just runs from place to place to place to place, like physically runs. As I get older, you become your parents a lot of times. I've seen a lot of that in myself, that I'm as crazy as he is.
I wasn't probably the greatest of parents because it's that struggle that Joey has. You want to be the best at your business and you want to be the best as a father. When I was home, I was 100% in, but I mean, it just running a boatload of trucks and employees, it was tough.
It's funny he says that. I don't agree. Did I see my dad a lot when I was young, like 5 and younger? I guess I didn't. But I didn't really even realize it, right? Like, cause when we did have time, we had a freaking blast together. Did I see him much during the week? I guess I didn't. But when he was at home, he was at home. Like he was with us, and we had a lot of fun. And he taught me a lot of lessons. And I guess so. Even when he says he wasn't a good dad when I was young, like I think it's a bunch of hoopla because I was watching him work.
Yeah.
And I think I was probably taking him more than he realized, and even I realized.
How would you best explain the financial and time investment that he made?
So he grew his garbage company, 60-something trucks, sold out to Waste Management, and said, I'm out of here. Moved it out of Connecticut, moved down south, and from that point on, for the next 10 years, he committed his life to his kids. He was going racing with me. He worked on the cars. He treated my racing stuff like he was running his business still, right? And so, I mean, that's a lot of the reasons why we won, right? He was full committed into this. And
I'm watching you talk about it now. Like, you can tell, like, it means
absolutely
a lot to you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I can't go race a car by myself, right? You're 10 years old, you can't work on the car by yourself. You barely know what you're doing. You can't lift the car up, that's for sure. You're gonna hurt yourself. You can't drive yourself to the racetrack. You're 10 years old, right?
And this wasn't just occasional. This was week in, week out.
It was every day.
How, when he was 9 years old, was he able to get in races that required you to be at least 12?
I forged a birth certificate and I put him in and he won 2 races. And then it got on the internet how this 12-year-old won 2 races. Well, when we drove 4 hours up to Charlotte to run a Legends car race, and Humpy Wheeler called me in, says, Tommy, you have 2 birth certificates in the file here. Oh, they forgot to take one out, huh? So we got slapped and had to move to, back to Bandoleros a little bit there.
And then eventually your kids get older and you gotta do it on your own. And I think that's where we had a bit of a hard time kind of having some separation, because we built that bond and he felt so invested into my career throughout all that. And then it kind of got a little challenging for a minute, because now, Dad, I can't have you here anymore. Like, I gotta be a man, I gotta do it on my own, but I still want you there. I just want you as a dad, right? Just be my dad.
What did that process entail for you?
You first recognize kind of the situation, right, of what's going on. And you're young and you're like, I don't know if I can do it on my own, right? You're 19 years old in a professional sport that I'm getting my butt kicked in right now. Can I do this on my own? Like, and maybe he doesn't think I can do it on my own at that point either, right? And so, I just needed him for guidance at that point. And I think it took both of us a second to realize that and then try to understand how that fits in.
He needed somebody better than me. And when Warren came, his manager today, Warren had his back and brought it to another level. And it was a level that I didn't, I'm a pilgrim. I'm old school, you know, and you need that new blood. And when they put those two together, I looked in the mirror, I said, these guys don't need me no more. I says, they're smarter than I am.
It took a little bit of time. It wasn't the prettiest all the time, but it ends up being good. I can see how it happens, and I learned a lot of lessons from it too, right? Because I can see myself doing the same thing, right? Before you know it, I'm all in too, and I'm gonna be doing it. But you got to pull yourself back sometimes and let your kids fall, and that's just part of life.
And I tried to put him in a good situation. He took advantage of it through his hard work and effort, talent, etc. Joey is not the most talented race car driver in NASCAR. I can tell you that right now. I think he's highly talented, but the intangibles make him better than anybody, I believe.